Do you have the money to buy every new video game that you want? For many of us, the answer is no.
If you look at new games offered on the PS5, you will most likely be jump scared by the $70 price tag! That's too expensive! How does
$70 is a lot of money to spend on a game. However, if we compare
It has been rumored that GTA 6 will release at a higher price, compared to the usual $69.99 that we're used to paying for AAA titles.
Hey guys, welcome back to another video. So today I wanted to talk about the price of video games and how bleak I think the industry already is and is going to look moving forward. We all know that video games have been getting more and more expensive as the years have gone by.
So we've remade the Wii U game Super Mario Bros. U for the Switch, and we're not sure how to price it. $60. Okay, well, we also remade this GameCube game, Paper Mario, $60. We've also remade the 3DS game, Luigi's Mansion Dark Moon, $60. What? But that's more than it ever cost on the 3DS, and we've removed all of the 3D features, $60.
The remake of the Super Nintendo game, Super Mario RPG,
$60. The remake of the Game Boy game, Link's Awakening, $60.
With some people quite literally having to spend a whole day's worth of work in order to afford one new release. Like really, think about it. Spending $60, $70, $80 to upwards and over $100, depending on which edition of a game you may or may not want, is pretty ridiculous. And the sad part is, we've all been conditioned to just go along with it. Like, I understand that games are getting a lot more graphically demanding, and in turn, studios have to crank out more money in order to keep up with the quote-unquote new standard, but it goes a lot deeper than that if you ask me. It's one thing if the games that these studios released came out complete, mostly and/or relatively bug-free, and didn't require huge day-one patches for the majority of them, but we all know companies like Ubisoft and Bethesda are pretty well known for their buggy, glitchy, unfinished products to the point that people buy these games day one for the memes and the trolling. Like take Star Wars Outlaws for example. Thankfully I never personally bought that trash bin, but the gameplay I saw and reviews covering the game, it's pretty much this. NANI? And don't even get me started on Starfield.
Welcome to the Galbank Archives. May I see your credentials, please? Just one moment while I verify. Oh, yes, Mr.
As game studios continue to see that they can just put in less and less effort and still reap the majority of the benefits, consumers like you and I are going to be the ones that feel the brunt of the aftermath. And if I'm being honest, we deserve it, or at least some of us deserve it, which in turn affects all of us. The reason I'm saying this is because if companies realized that these slimy, underhanded tactics weren't getting them the results that they wanted, then they wouldn't continue to do them, obviously. At the end of the day, it's the people who continue to support and defend these multi-million-dollar companies, and I repeat, multi-million-dollar companies, that hurt all of us as a whole. And I'm mostly talking through actions like shilling and pre-ordering. Shilling is self-explanatory, but with the AAA slop that was scattered throughout most of 2024, and especially now that we're in 2025, why do people still pre-order video games? I'm not being sarcastic, I'm not being facetious. Honestly, why? It's not like they're going to run out of inventory. As much as I'm an advocate for all things physical media, not just video games, I'm also not delusional. Digital is the future, and a benefit to digital is supply. The reason I'm saying this is because in this day and age of early reviews and the convenience and ease of purchasing a game day one, there's no real reason to pre-order. I may have understood back in the 90s and early 2000s when reviews weren't as big of a thing, but why people still do it now is baffling to me, especially when past experience has cautioned us against it.
Yeah, got my eye on you.
Fucking drive, Jackie!
Come on, V! Shoot!
Can't! Keep her steady!
Hold tight, V!
The reason I'm bringing all of this up is because it directly ties to these companies taking advantage of their consumers. If a company knowingly puts out an unfinished buggy product that the consumer then forks over copious amounts of money for days, weeks, and sometimes months in advance, whose fault is it when you get burnt because the game didn't come out as good as you expected or sometimes completely different than was advertised? Most people will probably be quick to blame the studio, but it's a toss-up if you ask me. For example, this might not be the best one-to-one comparison, but it's like buying a car from Carvana. You've never touched it, never test drove it, you've probably never even seen it in person, but you'll shell out thousands and thousands of dollars for a brand new 2025 Chevy Silverado? I guess if you've got the money, do whatever you want. But at the end of the day, don't complain about issues that you're actively perpetuating. Look, all I'm trying to say is, it's already known that media, video games especially, are expensive as f***. And with the state of the world now and how shitty the economy currently is, with prices of things like toilet paper and eggs going through the roof, video games are not exempt. These prices will go up. There was already talks of Sony planning to increase their video game prices to like $80 or something before. I'm not paying $80 for any video game, let alone the slop that's coming out of the AAA industry. But that won't discourage companies like Sony and Microsoft from substantially increasing their prices if they thought they could get away with it. And that begets the core issue. We as a community need to collectively vote with our wallets, especially now that these companies are on the back heel. BioWare, Rocksteady, Ubisoft. These companies have felt the brunt of what it's like to be dismissed by the community, the lifeblood that shovels food into their fat mouths with disasters like Dragon Age the Veilguard, Suicide Squad killed the Justice League, and Star Wars Outlaws respectively. And the only way they feel comfortable putting out trash fires like these is because people continue to give them money for doing the absolute bare minimum. At the end of the day, I guess the point I'm trying to get across is that if there was ever a time to vote with our wallets, not pre-order games, and disincentivize these companies from increasing prices, or at the very least, putting out content that's worth the current price, now's the time.